All right, so doing this interview on my manager. So what is your name?
Name is Will Montgomery, District Manager, part owner, Moe's Southwest Grill, South Louisiana.
All right. So at any time did you attend UL as an athletic training major?
I did from 2004 to 2007.
All right. So at Moe's, how are your budgets established?
So what we do at Moe's is when we're opening a restaurant, we take key demographics from the surrounding areas and median household incomes determine what this location should do in sales. And those numbers what we use to base off of our first 18 months of budgeting. Once we get an established restaurant base in South Louisiana, which we have 4 right now, we use the sales from those 4s to somewhat determine the future budgets for upcoming restaurant openings. That's about it. That's how we do it.
All right. So at Moe's, who makes the budget revisions and collects all the information from the budgets from the different surrounding stores?
So we have a CPA that collects all of our sales data, is our accounts receivable and accounts payable. They collect everything, and we go month to month, editing certain budgets and food cost and labor control, which are the 2 largest things in the restaurant business that we have to keep an eye on from week to week, month to month. But they collect all the data for us, and each month we meet with them to discuss certain areas of the budget that may need some expanding, some that we can probably take down a little bit smaller. Once they collect all the data and we have the meeting, then it's put out to each restaurant's general managers to be discussed among them with our district managers.
All right. So do all employees have access to the budget information?
No, not all employees have access to the budget. Usually just general managers and assistant managers will have certain info in their budget when it comes to their specific restaurant. Usually the things that they will only see is their food budget and labor budget. Those are the 2 things with the budget that they need to be most concerned with, because they're placing the orders and making the schedules for each restaurant, so they need to have some limitations on knowing what they can order, can't order, and how much labor they can schedule and how that goes.
All right. So you said the budgets are derived month by month, you said?
Yes, sir.
All right, so every meeting y'all talk about, the different sales and how y'all approach the next month between sales and all that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So who is accountable for keeping all your budget information? I know you have your person who revises it and all, but the same person, do they hold all the information?
So the same way it comes down from above, it goes up. Each store is responsible for tracking what they spend on a weekly basis, and we do that with inventory control and scheduling. I guess it's called a scheduling application that we use through our corporate office that helps track what they did schedule, scheduled labor versus actual labor. And those actually get reported on a week-to-week basis back up to the district managers. District managers relay it on to the CPA, and in turn the CPA should already have those numbers in there. At that point they're compared with what the CPA has and what the store has, and if there's any discrepancies on whether they went over the budget, under the budget, our CPA has full access to all the programs that we use to track our sales and track our spending and track our labor. So they pull reports straight from the restaurant, and our general managers use those same applications just in a reduced size to help track the few things that they need to track, and we compare and contrast our numbers usually at the end of the month with them, just like we do with the CPA when it comes to the budget.
Okay, so you mentioned programs. What type of software do y'all use here at Moe's?
Okay, so we use a program called MenuLink. MenuLink is a Windows operation system that links every restaurant together, and really it's nationwide for all 700 restaurants that Moe's has. So really and truly, with a name and password, you could sit at our computer and pull up a store in New York's sales with the correct name and password. That particular program helps track inventory costs, all of our purchases. That's where we make our schedules. We use a little bit of Excel, our own spreadsheets designed, and some from our corporate office to input some numbers on different tendencies specific to our area. And really, our corporate office in Atlanta can help us develop any spreadsheet that we want with Excel to help track certain things like coupon redemption, more age-related customer stuff, and stuff based off of festivals and holidays in South Louisiana versus other places in the nation.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So what are the pros to having all these different tools on the computer? All these different programs at your hand.
Pros to having is you have every angle covered. If you have any question about where any penny is going or where it's coming from, usually there's a spreadsheet or a report that we can pull up in that program. If not, like I said, with the Atlanta corporate office, you could usually help us develop something. But it's really at any point in time, I can sit at any computer and pull up, how many homewrecker burritos we sold on every Monday for the past 2 years. So it's very detailed and helps us get really as close to possible on our budgets of how much we need to spend, how much we can spend, and it helps us out really controlling those food costs all the way to the top.
All right. So what are the negatives of having this program? Just with it being so much information in one place, what can be the negative of that?
Well, a negative is it's a lot of information, and sometimes when you look at so much detailed information, you overlook the actual project itself and what you're trying to do. You try to track every penny, but at the same time, you forget the bigger picture when you're looking at the smaller picture. So it's great to have every one of those at our fingertips, but at the same time, it's a curse because you can lose sight of the whole objective of just basic food costs and labor cost principles.
All right. So like we previously said, you were attending as an athletic training major. What made you decide to opt out of that road that you were going down?
My love of cooking. I eventually woke up one day and didn't feel like athletic training was necessarily for me, something I didn't want to do the rest of my life. I enjoyed it when I was at UL. Still enjoy sports and the medical field to this day, but it just wasn't my passion.
So how has this decision worked out for you? How would you say this whole Moe's project has been going for you?
I'm happy. That's really all that matters. I enjoy what I do, and I wouldn't change anything about it.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right.